Welcome back, and I'm still smiling at this time of night as well. That was the sounds of Jean Balasat's first movement from his second symphony for band, played by Hatfield, conducted by Stan Lippiott. So I bet when you tuned in this morning, you didn't think you could be heard something from Jean Balasat, the man who wrote the 1994 European Championship test piece. But there we go, you've had a little bit of everything today, which has been great stuff. One bit of the mystery that three of us all want to know here in the studio. We want to know what's the name of the chap who appears on the screen as soon as the bands are finished in the yellow high-vis jacket, walking across the
Simon
screen.
Archer. That's the guy. Simon Archer.
That's Simon Archer. Well, Simon Archer doing a fantastic job. Health and safety gone mad, it is, isn't it? Where do we know what's happening with? But every time, as soon as the last band plays, every guest and leads him off. So he's doing a great job there. So well done to him there. The final band of the day, and I've got to be saying as well that the timings that have been run from 8:30 this morning have gone perfectly. So it's been half hour to band, and we are running about 10 minutes ahead of schedule. So that's a fantastic achievement by the organisers, so well done indeed for that. The final band of the day will be Derwent Brass, conducted by Keith Leonard. They're starting off with Just a Closer Walk, which is a traditional arranged by Alan Fernie. Another band is playing Los Hermanos de Bob, Mark Taylor arranged Sandy Smith. And then they play the Leonard Ballantyne hymn tune, Don't Doubt Him Now, the flugel soloist of Richard Bates. Lucy Pankhurst is a composer we haven't used anything today, which is more the pity because she writes some great stuff. We've got her Madeline, and then they're finishing off with An American Tale by Dan Price. So I'm going to come back to the two gents who are now sitting on opposite sides of me just to make my job a little bit harder. A Closer Walk. In which James Bond film did it appear? Kenny Crookston.
Oh, no.
You're not on the James Bond?
Oh, don't ask me about films. Unless it's The Godfather. I know a lot about The Godfather.
Or Braveheart or Rob Roy.
Those well-known historical epics. Hysterical epics they are in many ways. Come on then, Just a Closer Walk. Is it a James Bond film?
I haven't got a clue.
Live and Let Die at the beginning with Kananga and Solitaire.
Which we've heard today.
We have, but there we are then. So when you had the big time before that, right at the beginning, where the bloke, the 004 I think it is, and then he's killed, and they drop the coffin on top of him and then shoot off. See ya? Whisper is in it, isn't he? The one who shoots the people with the dart in the back of the neck. Right, so you got that one there. The other piece I was going to be hearing is the one called Madeline by Lucy Pankhurst. Now, we talked about this a bit earlier on. It appeared in the Carlton Main Frickley Colliery programme.
Oh, a couple of years ago.
A couple of years in Brass in concert. It's based on the famous Andy Warhol painting of Madeline from 1962, which is a diptych, which means I think it's 20 of them. Part of it, it's the one set are in garish colours, and then it's in black and white, which is supposed to show Marilyn Monroe's mortality. Either that, or he was just doing cans of beans in the same time while he was doing something like that. But it's a great. But the piece is fantastic. She's got a really inventive way in writing, and there was a really inventive program, wasn't it, when they did the
It was terrific. That really was the one that particular day that grabbed me. It was a fantastic piece of programming, and put together by Lee Baker, of course, who we've seen earlier.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, one of the things about Lucy Pankhurst's music, and I have to say I don't know this piece, Marilyn, but I've heard a lot of Lucy's other music, is there's huge variety in the type of music that she writes. There's a new compact disc that's just come out, which has got a piece of hers called Voices on. It's a CD called War Memorials, which has got Tredegar on.
And Corey,
And Corey. And there's a piece of hers called Voices, and of course Lucy won a British Composer Award a few years ago. She's written a number of pieces which are commemorative. There was a piece, a commemorative piece for Pretoria Pit disaster. There's a couple of World War I pieces, that's right, in Pitch Black, which was the piece she won the British Composer Award for. And there's a piece on that CD called Voices, which is a really moving First World War tribute, and it's about 10 minutes long. Beautiful piece, really, really beautiful piece. And yet, in contrast, she can write short, jazzy, punchy numbers that work really well in entertainment context.
There's a piece that she's helped write, I think it's Wingates are doing, which they're doing a concert called The Great Shindig, which is coming up in I think it's maybe this month or maybe next month, which is a piece written about a chap who wrote a book, a children's book about how clouds appear and how they have invisible machines inside them and which are the clouds. It's a great book, and she wrote the music to it. and it's been a great hit.
Yeah.
So you can imagine such a very, very clever composer.
Yeah.
Of course, a partner, Paul McGee, we've talked about as well. So we've heard those musics. Simon Dobson's piece, which you're going to, Journey of the Longwood, we're going to be hearing at the Albert Hall. So these young composers are coming through where they just need
Well, but they're getting a lot of exposure.
A bit of better PR as well. So you know, if they can get that, it's great music to listen to.
But they're getting a lot more exposure than they did a few years ago as well, and they are becoming the mainstream names. It's just like everything else, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, way back to the 60s when Gilbert Winter was controversial. You know,
what would they think of Spectrum, eh? What would that be like?
I know, but it's old hat now, isn't it? But we were talking to Simon Dobson yesterday or a couple of days ago on the podcast. It was just this very subject. It was almost exactly the same conversation. That the Simon Dobsons, you know, Pete Meekin's the one we've just not talked about, and Gavin Higgins, that will become the mainstream band music in the next 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
And strange thing is, in 10 or 20 years' time, they were saying, what was all that fuss about? They maybe say, what's all that fuss about Paul McGee's The Teddy Bear Massacre? But that is one of the,
that's one of the darkest.
That is one. I've got to admit, it remains one of my favourite entertainment pieces of all time. That is one of the most disturbing pieces we've ever done. But it's a great one. I wish we could hear
really
that.
Clever, that wasn't
Paul's, we were talking earlier as well about Paul's little arrangement of Abide With Me, which is incredible. I mean, a really, really wonderful arrangement.
There's just a wee hint of darkness in there.
Oh
as well,
yeah, absolutely. There's darkness in there without a doubt, and there's darkness in everything that Paul does. But that arrangement.
We'll take your word for that, Chris.
But if you listen to those composers, you have Gavin Higgins. He explores that side of things.
Yeah.
If you ever listen to a piece of his called Sex Shop Variations,
Yes.
Great. There we are. Less of that on a Sunday night that we need. But some of the pieces that he's
Well, that one you played at the European in Montreux.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Aye.
Great piece.
Disturbing subject matter there, isn't
it was. I always remember Frank Renton telling the audience, he says, you know, you have been warned. and all of a sudden, all the little ears popped up like that, and they're like radars they were coming in. It was great to see that. So it's great to hear those pieces, and to round off the day, as we say, it's the last band. We've had a great time here, Jan, so we have to. We have to.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
It's been a marathon, but it's been good fun.
I think I've lost the use of my legs after this one. I'll have to get up and do some walking up there. But apart from that, then we've had a great time. We're now coming to the last band, which will be taken to the stage. So I'm going to hand over to Simone Rebello, who's done exactly the same as that. She's been working her socks off all day today, from early in the morning. So for the last time today, we're handing over to Simone Rebello for the last band performance at the Bolsover Festival of Brass.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to our final performance this evening.